This is Inside the FLX from FingerLakes1.com. I'm Ted Baker. It's our live Tuesday edition. Joining us in studio are an old friend, a former radio colleague, and an Auburn Rotarian, not necessarily in that order, Ed Helinski. Mr. Ed, good to see you.
Good morning, Ted. Good to see you. It's always a pleasure. Quite the digs you guys got up here, you know that?
Oh, yeah, we get the good stuff. Party in the Park Food and Music Festival, Deauville Island, July 23rd and 24th. Let's start with the most important part, and that's the projects that this money is used for, both locally and then through Rotary International. Talk about the work of the Auburn Club.
Oh, do we have all day to do this? I mean, because it's quite extensive. We support somewhere between 20 and 30 different groups on an annual basis. Of course, Warm the Children is our big project whatsoever, where we get new winter clothing for anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 kids of Cuba County every year. We're working on a water project now with the Moravia Rotary Club in Aula down there as well, the HWA, to save the hemlock trees. Literacy is always a big thing for us. You know, quality of water. Without water, we don't have anything. I mean, people forget that and take it for granted, but water is very, very important. We support a lot of veterans programs as well, too. Of course, children's programs as well. We've been doing this with our club since 1915. You know, this past spring we got an emergency call because the local community group that had the Easter egg hunt at Hoops Park for 70 years wasn't going to do it anymore. They basically disbanded because of COVID. So we put together an Easter egg hunt in 18 days, stuffed 5,500 eggs, and pulled it off on a rainy, yucky, mucky day. But the smiles on these children's faces was tremendous and well worth every effort.
You've got a great club in Auburn and very active, like you said. I mean, a lot of clubs do fundraising. You do fundraising, but you also get out and get active in the community a lot.
It's important for us because we use it as a recruiting tool. I mean, it's important to know that what we're about. You know, years ago we had the reputation of being a bunch of old men sitting around having lunch on Tuesdays.
And we are, but...
Well, we can. You do it on Wednesday, but I mean, we changed things up a little bit where our club membership is split down the middle in terms of gender. I mean, and we love our Rotary sisters. We really do. I mean, they're tremendous. They work hard. They're enthusiastic. And it's important for us to be even more active coming out of COVID because we were so dormant for 2 years. And we saw a couple other, community groups go by the boards because of COVID. And basically they stopped recruiting and they aged out. So we need to recruit. That's important, and it's imperative for us and our survival.
How did you do it? Because I'm in the Geneva Club, of course, and it was very difficult, not just for Rotary clubs, but any kind of nonprofit. During COVID, we couldn't do much fundraising. We couldn't get active and do those kinds of projects. Some clubs got very creative with virtual kind of things. So how did the Auburn Club bounce back so strong?
We eased our way into it. We tried the virtual thing, but then we went to the town of Owasco, and they had this wonderful park shelter. And we got into April and May, and we could spread ourselves out, way out in there. So then we could physically see one another and interact with one another as opposed to a text message, being on the phone, a Zoom. I mean, quite frankly, a lot of people got zoomed out during this COVID and this pandemic during the past 2 years. So we were able to bounce back rather quickly on that because we wanted to keep people engaged. Once you lose people, their engagement, then you've lost them forever. Did we lose some members during COVID? Yes, we did. Did we gain some members? Yes, we did. And so, Party in the Park is a way for us to do our membership drive, showcase our club, but also on top of it, we're doing, we're the food vendor for Hoops Park, and they're programming on 2 movie nights and 9 concert nights, and so we're out there as well too. So we'll be cross-promoting a Party in the Park. People will see how much fun we're having and what we're doing. For 10 years, we would pour beer at the Auburn Doubledays on Dollar Night. I mean, interact with people drinking dollar beers, and we did that strictly for tips, and believe it or not, there's an art in getting tips from people, especially the beer drinkers. So, yeah. I mean, it's all about engagement in the community. And, way back when in 2009, when I was vice president at the time, and we were down to 17 club members. So what we did was we said, geez, we're coming up on our 95th year. why don't we have a party, invite some of our old members back? And we were very successful in recruiting the old members back. And then we started a group for emeritus seniors. And God, that was awful. That was popular. And we need to go back to do that again and re-engage with people. People's lives change all the time, you know, job, work, family, and their priorities change as well, too. So maybe, you know, it's a good time in their lives to come back to Rotary.
Party in the Parks, July 23rd and 24th, Deauville Island. Let's start with the venue. I mean, you've got some great places in and around Auburn to put on events, and here's one of them.
Probably the best venue in the Finger Lakes. It is literally an island. It's surrounded by water. Two bridges where vehicles can drive over, and they just put in another footbridge. It's going to be redeveloped with an amphitheater by the Cougar County. So they're working on that project as well, too. We are right on the foot of Owasco Lake, picturesque, a lot of boaters out there. It's one of these parks that had not just restrooms, but a bathhouse as well, too. So, you know, if you get too hot and get heated up, go jump in the lake. It's really close by. I mean, and you wade right out there, you'll cool right off. We'll have boaters that come in because we've got some kind of cool stuff going on this year. I mean, we changed it up a little bit because we wanted to and because we had to. And so it hasn't been easy trying to put this on this year. Believe it or not, it's hard to find out who's the vendor anymore. A lot of them got out of the business. A lot of them are focused on weddings. Weddings are huge. And of course, the other big problem is that they're having trouble recruiting people to work for them. So, I mean, it's the ongoing situation that we go with. And, you know, the easiest part was booking music. It really was. I mean, and I still get inquiries today, you know, from national touring groups or whatever, but we're not at that stage right now. This year we decided we're going to go with local bands because that's what we promised those bands in 2020, and we're going to hold true to our promise with them. And it's part of our four-way test. Is it the truth? I mean, and we live by that.
Good mix. I mean, the Dean's List, I first saw them at a radio event we did a few years ago and just absolutely blown away. They started out doing the kind of 50s and 60s stuff, and then they came back with a set that had Pink Floyd in it.
Well, and then we start off that Saturday, too. We start off with the kids from Perform for Purpose, who'll play for us as well, too. I mean, and they're phenomenal. They're going to play for an hour to begin with. They'll do the national anthem for us when we open up our event. Then we have the Endless Mountain Derelicts, which was another radio group that we did radio event we did down in Penn Yan. So their country, they can bring it. It's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday. And on Sunday, we start off at noon with Jim Van Arsdale and the Healers, and then we finish up with a great band, Bad Juju. So, I mean, it's going to be a good weekend of music. You know, we're charging $5 for admission for adults. Kids 12 and under are free. I mean, we've got the fun firefighter games that we're doing as well, too, with engaging the various volunteer fire departments, either on two-day competition or just on Sunday for water push ball. So we feel that it's important to give back to the community. The volunteer firefighters do tremendous work. They do thankless work. And if we can help them recruit new members, so be it.
Yeah, you talk about recruiting. That's been a huge, any kind of EMS or volunteer fire right now is having a pretty tough time finding volunteers because of the level of commitment and the level of training required.
Yeah, I mean, and other thing that we're having, you know, provided they can stay, is the Mercy Flight Central helicopter, the emergency helicopter. You know, that's people, you know, get to actually get up and feel and touch and look and maybe even get inside a helicopter and see exactly what goes on with that as well. You know, we hope they stay a while, but if they've got to go, they've got to go because they're out to help somebody, and that's more important in the long run. So we've got a lot of different things. And then we decided, let's do a celebrity dunk tank. And so, you know, we've got our old friend Joe Salzone.
Oh, biggest star there is.
Well, it'll be interesting because, you know, I'm going to tape that one. That's going to go without saying. But we start off with a county legislator, Aileen McNabb Coleman. going to be in our tank. And Robert Harding from The Citizen, and Kevin Rivoli from The Citizen, the award-winning photographer. I guarantee you he's going to put mount a camera up there and watch himself going into the tank and do a video himself on it. And he does some great work with that. So, I mean, I have, Sheriff Brian Skank is going to go in the tank. And then on Sunday, our good friends from the United Way of Cougar County are going to man the dunk tank with that, and they're getting their group of celebrities as well, too. So it's all good. Saturday, money from the dunk tank goes to warm the children. On Sunday, it's the United Way initiatives.
The website is auburnrotarybbq.org. That goes back to the days when it was a barbecue festival, but it's the Party in the Park presented by Nucor. And you mentioned earlier changing things up, and that's one of the things that our club has learned. An event can go for so long, and then people sort of get, I want to say get tired of it, but you do want to change things up. We changed our annual sit-down dinner into more of an outdoor garden party, and it just went over real well. It was just a little bit different. You don't have to wear a hot suit and sit inside for 3 hours. So you do have to sort of reinvent yourself as you go along.
Times have changed, especially after during COVID and after COVID. If people think that we're back to normal right now, we're not there yet. We're getting there. I think it's going to be maybe another year before we may be fully back up to speed again. As long as we're not pummeled by different variants and different other monkeypox or any other situations coming across. But a garden party, tremendous. That's a great thing. We got back to doing our annual dinner again. I mean, and we couldn't do that for a couple of years. And that's important because we honored our scholarship winners as well, too. It's good to also to get together. Not everybody can come to a Rotary meeting, whether it's a Tuesday like us or a Wednesday like you. So it's getting everybody together. Yeah, we dress up a little bit, and showcase ourselves to families and community members, and that's okay. I mean, we clean up nicely, and, we're good people, so it's all good. For our event, we got away from the Kansas City Barbecue Society event, and no fault to that, but a lot of the competition teams sold their equipment. They got out of the competition, out of that expensive hobby. And some of these rigs, people would come in with $100,000 rigs and $250,000 rigs and setups and that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you got nowhere to go for a year or two.
And I bet you they're still paying on it too. So, they're going to stop the bleeding and stop the paying. So they sold off on it. Some of them went into business for themselves as a barbecue truck or whatever. And a lot of them are doing phenomenal with it. So, I mean, and then the Canadian border was shut down. Well, 30% of our competition, the teams came from Canada. Couldn't do it. Now, on top of it, they're pulling this stuff with diesel rigs, and now the price of fuel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they're coming from all over the Northeast. We've had people from Rhode Island and near the Boston area, way up north of Toronto as well, too. We've had them from, deep in the heart of Pennsylvania, and it just didn't make any sense at that point. So, I mean, we said, all right, let's hold off again and see where this thing shakes out. And we weren't the only ones in New York State. There's only one barbecue competition in the entire state now. The rest of them have taken a hiatus, or those festivals have gone by the boards.
So tell us about the food and vendor options for Party in the Park. And I know we're getting close. Is there still time, if anybody's listening, watching us, to sign on as a vendor?
Oh, absolutely. We'll always, take that. Food, we have the Friendly Falafel, which is Mediterranean, vegetarian. We've never had a vegetarian vendor before, so we're excited about that. Volano's food truck, so we now have the Italian persuasion, and the chicken cutlet is to die for. We have then Big Awesome Barbecue, Adam Vryoff, and he has stepped up his game, and his barbecue is phenomenal. And then we have our friends from
Were they at the Oswego Harbor Fest?
He has been.
I remember.
He has been in the past. Yes.
I think. Yeah, I had their stuff at Oswego a few years back.
Yeah, he's got this bacon bomb.
Yeah.
That will knock your socks off.
Yep.
And with him, anything is possible. But he's going to come up with a creation. And then we have our friends over at the Ancient Order of Hibernians here in Auburn, and my friend Kevin Burke, who's Irish and Polish. So he's talking about doing an Irish kapusta. So talk about worlds colliding and minds blowing at this point. So it's going to be rather interesting. We have our Carvel ice cream will be there as well too. We've got wine slushies from Ashley Lynn, Thousand Islands Winery as well too are coming down. Our good friends from that. So we've got a nice balance for people. We've got a nice balance of activities for the kids. The fire departments are also bringing apparatus, fire trucks. You know, it's that we're supposed to be doing a repelling exhibition, you know, off a big scissors lift or whatever else,
Wow.
repelling. So, you know, it'll be interesting. And if the helicopter's got to come and go in, that's quite the sight when you see those helicopters, that helicopter come in and leave. So it's going to be rather interesting. It's going to be not a 3, but probably a 4 or 5 ring circus going on simultaneously. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
With inflation and the high gas prices, I mean, families are looking for some fun at a low price. So, I mean, if you want to buy the food and the drink, you can. If you don't, it's $5, and you get the bands, and you get the lake, and you get the sunshine, and what's not to like.
We've been very fortunate. We wrestled with previously our admission was $10, and so we wrestled with the price and said, why don't we drop it down? People are coming out of COVID. Want to make it more family friendly, integrating more families, more people in the community. Not in just the Auburn area, the Cougar County area. It's wide open to anybody that wants to come to Owasco Lake and enjoy the lake and enjoy the day. I mean, we're open. We start on Saturday the 23rd from noon to 8. Sunday we're noon to 6. I mean, that's plenty. Rain or shine. Is there a possibility of a storm coming in? Typically, it's really hot that time of year as well, too. So anything can pop up at any given time. And we've had that. So it comes with the territory. But we just didn't want to do one day. And then, with our luck, it would be pouring. And then you have no rain date. And then you're sunk. We've been very fortunate this year as well with a lot of corporate sponsorship. Nucor, Wegmans, Duke. I got to tell you, this is our best year for corporate sponsorships for this. Going back to Warm the Children, where we do our campaign, and we have the CAP out of Seneca County and Cougar County, and the Citizen and us as partners for that. We just had our best fundraising year for Warm the Children. So, I mean, people are generous, and business are generous. We've established some great relationships in the community, and people recognize what we do.
Absolutely. They see the work. I mean, you talked about the Easter egg hunt. That's a hugely popular event. Everybody's, it's not going to happen this year. And Rotary Club said, oh, yes, it is.
We had 2 sponsors that stepped right up. Joe Calarco with Aflac and Mesa Grande Taqueria. Bam. What do you need? How much do you need? What can we help with? What do we got to do? That was the easy part of it, believe it or not. Asking businesses for money, if you give them a good sound reasoning and a plan, they like to get to market themselves at festivals and events.
I've heard you're pretty good at that.
You know what? It's kind of like gin. It's an acquired taste, you know, and obviously I'm doing well with that taste right now. So thank you so much. But yeah, we're having fun with it. I mean, and people understand. I typically don't go to a lot of businesses more than once during the course of the year. There's plenty to ask from. And the worst thing they're going to do to you is say no. Hey, maybe they'll surprise you and they'll say yes. Oh my gosh, that's a great feeling, you know, and you build off of that. And look, I mean, you know as well, I was in radio, and, you know, the sales cycle is you got to get somebody to say yes, it takes 7 times. If you know, out of 10 clients and 10 proposals, you hit 3 of them, you're hitting 300, you're going to the Hall of Fame if you're a baseball player, and you're having a great day as a radio rep or media rep. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. You don't know where their business is at that point, and there's a lot of variables, you know, playing into it at this point. So it's not cut and dry, and you never take it personal, and you just move on and go to the next person.
I always ask Rotarians to give the pitch for Rotary. One of the things I love about it is that everyone can serve as much or as little or in whatever way they're able. You won't get your arm twisted. You don't have to be on everything. Some Rotarians are. They're on every committee. They do every event. Some are better at behind the scenes administrative kind of things. Some are out there doing it, but you have that freedom to pick and choose where you can best be utilized in your community.
When you have a group like Rotary, when it's based on business professionals, a lot of people bring a lot of different things to the table. And so, okay, you're keeping track of our books. Well, you're participating. You're not physically, cooking hot dogs or selling beer or soda or at the Easter egg hunt, but you're participating. And you're right about that. There are people that do a lot of things, and probably everything. And there's some we say, please do something, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever it fits in your schedule. And that's important. And you can see the shoulders slump down when you tell them that oh my goodness. And we use that as our pitch when we're for new members as well too. Look, do what you can and participate as much as you can. Yes, we know you get busy. Yes, you have family obligations. Yes, things happen. So why not come and come and join? You'll be able to network with some great people. Maybe it'll help.
Probably a bunch of people you already knew. I mean, that's what happened when I joined Rotary. It was like, hey, I know almost all these people already.
What a great way to walk into a place with a warm door.
Yeah.
I mean, but also with somebody who's new, you want to warm that door up for them as well too. And more importantly, you want to engage them as soon as possible. Because if you don't, then they're sitting back and they're saying, why are we doing this? And why am I in this? What happened to me? But if you engage them and get them involved in any way, shape, or form, it's always a good thing moving forward.
Our Geneva Rotary Club is a lunchtime club. We meet Wednesdays, 12 noon at the 41 Lakefront, the former Ramada. How about the Auburn Club?
We are now at the Auburn Public Theater. We have our food catered by Cafe 108 in front of it as well. Fabulous food. Carrie and Angela Didabo, they do a phenomenal job with Carrie Idell and Angela Didabo do a phenomenal job. And that restaurant seems to be doing good. It's a nonprofit restaurant, so they take the profits from that restaurant and plow it back into Auburn Public Theater. And so we rent to be there, and that goes towards the theater as well too. So it's a good situation. The business model that they have is phenomenal, and hopefully it's working well for them. I mean, so we like that. Today we're taping this on Tuesday. I have Karen Kuehl from the Cuyahoga County Tourism Office. And next Tuesday, check this out, I have John Wildhack, the SU Athletic Director. So John was very gracious enough to agree to do it. So it should be a lot of fun. This month is my turn for guest speakers. So and next month as well, too. So that's part of it. And I like going outside the norm for guest speakers. And these people all have stories and some journeys that they want to talk about or things that are happening. And it's kind of important if you're going to be a community group, to be tuned to it.
Auburn Rotary Club Party in the Park, Food and Music Festival, presented by Nucor and the Auburn Rotary Club, July 23rd, 24th, Deauville Island on Owasco Lake. Just $5 for adults, kids under 12 free. Fire departments, Mercy Flight, music, food, drink. Water and fun in the Finger Lakes. I couldn't ask for more than that. Ed Helinski, Auburn Rotary Club, thanks as always. Good to talk with you.
Thank you so much, Ted.
This has been Inside the FLX from FingerLakes1.com. Our producer today is intern Caleb, and we have a busy week. Coming up a little bit later on this afternoon, I'll talk with the Yates County Administrator Noni Flynn. Tomorrow, Geneva Town Supervisor Mark Venuti and Stephen Hoyt with Scouts BSA. Cuyahoga County Sheriff Brian Skank will join us Thursday. Just added to the lineup, Brian Muldrow, county legislator in Cuyahoga County, also with CNY Sports. They're running the rec program in Auburn this year. And our weekly Friday visit with Auburn City Clerk Chuck Mason. So a busy week of Inside the FLX. Thanks for watching.